Eyes on Longmont, offering a diversity of topics about our community that will inform and entertain you. We invite you to sit back and enjoy this edition of Eyes on Longmont.
Hello everybody, my name is Michael Young and I'm a professional freelance muralist up here in Estes Park, Colorado. I've been fortunate to have murals all over town, and right now I'm standing in front of Village Bagels where I've just completed a few, and I'd like to show them to you. So come on in. I've lived in Estes Park, Colorado now for almost 40 years. I painted my first mural in junior high. Actually, I helped paint a group project mural. And then I didn't take art in high school until my senior year, because I always thought I knew how to do art, but I didn't think I had to learn it. Well, come to find out, when I finally did take an art class, I found out that I liked doing murals. I went to school at Columbine High School, and we had a lot of free walls, and I had an art teacher that really knew I could do it, and he encouraged me like I didn't think was possible. So I moved up here, and didn't do many murals. Occasionally, when I started doing theater up here, I could paint theater scenery. And then someone said, well, could you paint a mural for us? And so the murals just kind of dribbled in as I found other ways to make a living, usually retail. And then in 2018, I found out that the murals were interfering with my regular job. So I just suddenly found myself actually being able to support myself by painting murals. I learned one great thing from my dad. My dad was a professional musician, and he'd always earned his entire living, his entire life, just by playing the piano and the organ. And he was very good. He was an extremely good musician. And he said, son, I may never be rich, but I sure am happy. So that's how I feel when I do murals. I get to be my own business. I am it. And it's funny how you do one mural and then someone looks at it and says, I didn't know a mural could do that for a business, and how it could improve the atmosphere of your store or whatever. So people would ask me, Michael, here's my wall. It's ugly, can you come up with something? And when I'm given that kind of freedom, I find out that I don't have just one style. I try to adapt to whatever the client wants. And when I can make a client happy, that's part of the reward of an artist, and it's one of my greatest rewards by painting. Murals always make me happy because I'm doing something that comes from my heart. I feel like I'm really doing something inside that fulfills me. But then when you can get the approval of your client and say, Michael, this looks really, really good, thank you, it just makes me feel like I really have done something right. And so I get to paint murals as a full profession until September 15th, when I get to build the Christmas floats for our annual Christmas parade. But right behind me is a mural that I've done here at Village Bagels. This is a new restaurant that opened up, and the owner liked my work elsewhere, and so when I saw the place, what the restaurant looked like, I knew the kind of scenery, kind of mural I could use in the background to complement the restaurant. And so people come in and again, they see it, and I get to meet so many incredible people that I wouldn't meet otherwise. I didn't know anybody who works here, and now I've got, 8, 9, 10 really good friends. And so I hope I always get to paint murals because it makes me feel like a good person, and I can make other people feel good too. This is how I get to earn my living. This is one of my latest murals I've done. This is John Huddy. He owns Village Bagels, which is where we are. And John, you got to tell him how you found me.
So we got here about 10 years ago, and I've been watching your art the whole time. When the town went through the project for painting all of the electrical boxes and the different utility boxes, that's when I really started getting familiar with stuff. And then I started watching your murals around town, and I just knew if I ever had a place of my own that I was going to at least reach out and at least be hopeful that you would come give me an opportunity to paint for us.
So tell him about this guy.
So this guy happened accidentally. When Michael was painting the first mural, he took this picture, and we were all laughing and giggling, having a good time. And as soon as
what's happening here?
This one is when we first took over the location, the oven was facing a different direction, and so we decided to turn the oven. And a bunch of my buddies showed up while we were to do this one day, and Michael got a great snapshot of it. And as soon as we saw it, it was like, yep, that one's going right there. So we wanted that one as soon as we saw it.
John completely transformed this. This was a totally different restaurant before, and what do my murals do for your restaurant?
The murals have been an absolute awesome conversation piece. The artist is excellent with his social media posts as well, not only on things that we're doing here, but the things that he's doing around the community. And so getting these talking points up has just been a big hit. People keep coming back, seeing progress. Now that we've got an additional mural started on the other side of the restaurant, it's just fun watching people come in and giggle and laugh and really get a kick out of what's going on in here. So it's been a blast.
It has. This one is one of the few times I ever had a chance to do photorealism. And people look at it, and I'm very proud of it because I never get a chance to paint just people, and especially people where you don't see their faces. I love this because it has so much power and energy behind it and strength, but you only get to see one face. So I've always liked the fact this has so much energy to it. Okay, now this mural is something I've never had to do before. This is a mural of me painting that other mural that you saw of the guys moving the oven. So John thought it would be really cool, sort of a companion mural, that across the restaurant paint this mural of me painting that mural. This is going to be what it looks like, and I'm really embarrassed because I don't like painting myself, but there's going to be a self-portrait of myself over here. So I thought it was really cool because I've never got a chance to paint a mural of another mural. So it's going to be fun. Okay, folks, now we're at Bart's Liquor up here in Estes Park, Colorado. These folks had also heard about a mural I did down at the pharmacy, and they came in and said, I've got this really ugly wall. What could you do with it? So I came in and I saw it, and instantly I thought, since this is a liquor store, it's got to be a British pub, an old English pub. So I manufactured this just out of my imagination, and it's obviously built strictly for Bart's Liquor. That's the bees at the top, and the little bear on the on the bicycle. That's their logo. And this was tremendously fun because I got to do photorealism again. I usually paint a lot of aspen trees, the mountains, and things like that. But this was fun to do the actual woodwork and the bottles. And usually I stick something special, sort of like a little Easter egg inside of my murals. This one I didn't, except they did want the bottle from I Dream of Jeannie. So I snuck her up, and the cap is off, so it's all good luck. And this little guy, the cat, that's one of the owner's cats, and I thought, I'll put her in. I realized she's got to be looking at something, so she wants to come in because of the glass of Pilsner. It's a smart cat. So that's the story of this. It took a flat wall and hopefully pulled you right into a very warm and inviting little pub. Thanks. This is another mural I've done here at Bart's Liquor. This was their wine tasting corner, and it was just plain walls. And they asked me, can I come up with something for this? And I thought instantly, something warm and cozy and maybe just a little elegant to do a wine tasting. So I thought of woodwork and exposed bricks. And the fun part here was trying to get my woodwork to match the woodwork of the store. Plus, I got to say, I'm very, very happy with how my bottles turned out. I never know what the client's going to want, and that's what I love so much about what I get to do. I always get to make something that will hopefully help a business and just give it a little extra interest. And if my heart can go into it, I think that's even better. Another section of Bart's Liquor was this small wall above the back coolers. And the owners asked me what I thought would go up there. And I thought, well, why not just a plain old simple tribute to beer? So I went back in time, and I've got a wonderful photograph of Prohibition protesters saying, we want beer. I've got the traditional mugs being clinked. And what I'm most proud of is the vintage ad of the 1960s, 1950s suburban couple enjoying their beer out on the patio. And again, I used the wood grain and the brick to tie in with the rest of the feeling of the store. And the windows on both sides have the bear riding a bicycle, which is the logo for Bart's Liquors. This is in Rocky Mountain Pharmacy up here in Estes Park, of course. This is one of the first murals I've done that actually capture the landscape of Estes Park. When I started painting this, one of the people who work here came up to me and said, I didn't realize how dull this place was till you started painting this. So I always remember that as one of the great compliments. This captures the spirit of Estes Park, but actually this view doesn't exist in Estes Park. It's got about 7 different chunks of our locale blended together to get the right effect. This, however, does have a couple Easter eggs in it. When you come to Rocky Mountain Pharmacy, take a look at this and see if you can find Bigfoot and a little green alien. I like to perk up my murals whenever I can. But And then, of course, it has our state flower, the columbine, at the bottom. So this is, again, something where you didn't know that a mural could help a surrounding, a place of business, but apparently this one did, and I'm very, very proud of it. We're downtown in Estes Park right now. Since I'm not a traditional artist, when you paint murals for a living, people can't just go into a gallery and see your work. I have to pretty much give you a walking tour through Estes Park, which is actually pretty cool. Behind me right now is a mural I did about 4 years ago already. A wonderful gentleman by the name of Ed Gruff. He owns this building. He has the Sugar Shack, which is a candy store here. And he's a man of very few words. And he said, I like your murals. I want you to paint one for me. All I need in it is the flag and Long's Peak. And then that was it. So I like it when a client gives me just that many parameters, because instantly I thought, well, if you're going to have the American flag, of course, let's put it behind Long's Peak. And so I captured the front ridge of the Rocky Mountains, Long's Peak. And what I like about this one is I captured a moment in the evenings in the mountains when things get very, very serene and the day calms down. And so I wanted color, so a Rocky Mountain sunset was perfect for that. And then to capture the mood a little better, we have our elk sitting right there. He's just doing his own thing, being calm and just watching. And then I have one of the hardest things I've ever painted, and it's this chipmunk. That little guy caused me more hardships than anything I've ever painted. So, you know, if you're an artist, you accept your challenges. So that's what this one is. As an extra little special something, further on down the mural here, in the dark woods, if you look closely, you're going to find Bigfoot. I threw him in because Bigfoot's around here somewhere. And then at the very end of the mural, you're going to see a white dog. And that is Buddy. That is Ed's dog. Buddy is sort of the mascot of the Sugar Shack. And he captures all the love and warmth, and Buddy's just a great guy. Just a great dog. So I was so honored that my murals get to be where people can see them. This is a wonderful location, and it just means a lot that I was able to capture something about Estes Park for everybody to see. And I'm just very, very honored I got to paint this one. So behind me right here, this is Buddy that I was talking about. Buddy is Ed's dog, and Buddy is sort of, well, he's just the mascot of the Sugar Shack. He'll always be here. He'll always greet you like he's met you before. So when Ed said he wanted this is not technically a mural, but it just shows you when the subject matter is good. I'll go down to paintings, but he wanted something that captures Buddy's elegance. Buddy doesn't really have elegance, but we put it in there for him. So there's Buddy with his urns of flavored popcorns, and I was told he likes vanilla ice cream, so that's what's in front of him. And then I just gave him an elegant candy store setting just to capture the coolness and the regalness that is Buddy. You got to come to Estes Park and meet Buddy. Now we're downtown in Bond Park. That's the little park right in the middle of town here. And right behind me is, believe it or not, a metal electrical box. The town held a contest. They put a word out to all local artists to submit their proposals of what this could be. So I thought even before I got the job, I thought, well, what could blend in with the park surroundings and not have a message, just something that is here. But when you look at it, it's fun to look at. So instantly I thought of a little cabin. And the cool thing about my job is when I get a client, I never know what they're going to want me to paint. And so I loved this idea because I got to try my hand at painting moss rock and flagstone and all the wood grain. And so you'll notice I call this Welcome to David's Place. I was told about this job by a wonderful man named David who works for the town. And he told me about the job. I was fortunate enough to get the job. And then as I was painting it, he sadly and very quickly passed away. So that's when I knew the perfect name for this would be David's Place in honor of him. And then when I was just done painting this, a family got a hold of me in an email, and they said, we saw your piece in the park, and our son David just recently passed away. So we were curious if we could have it in honor of our son as well. And I said, absolutely. And then since then, my brother-in-law passed away quickly, and his name was David. So that's just a very special tribute to this, that people think enough of it to have it in memory of some wonderful, wonderful people. This is the first mural I've ever painted that has 4 sides. It's a little cabin, and when I was painting this one day, of course, my back is to the sidewalk. An old gentleman came up to me and said, "Are you waiting in line?" And I looked at it, I was like, I'm painting this. He thought this was the men's room, so I take that as a great honor as well. Another wonderful thing about being able to paint murals is, well, people can't take it with them when they move. So sometimes murals get painted over, but so far this has been very well received, and I always just consider it one of my proudest works, where people can see it but not know they're looking at it. Now this is the result of a very historic moment for Estes Park. A while back, the town decided to increase and promote outdoor art, and so they put a contest out where artists could submit their proposals for electrical boxes. And so I entered, and this is the one they gave me. So instantly when I saw the size of it, I thought, a vintage traveling trunk, something that captures what it would have been like to be a tourist back in, say, the early 40s. And so, traveling trunk, which you don't see anymore. And I've got your old hunter's jacket in there, the leather ice skates, and of course your hiking boots. You've got to have your binoculars and your guide to Rocky Mountain National Park, your camera, your sweaters, and of course you got to have your souvenir bear that says Estes Park on it. And this was 7 years ago. I marvel at that, because when I paint a mural, it always sticks in my mind like I just finished it last week. So when I come by to see this guy, it's like visiting an old friend. And on this side I have a fishing creel and a fishing pole. On the other side we have old-fashioned snowshoes. So this is my contribution to the history of Estes Park.
Hello, welcome to the Estes Valley Library. My name is Claudine Perot, and I'm the director and village librarian. I'm here along with my colleague Barbara Jo to share a little bit of Michael Young's work that he's done inside the public library. Come on in.
Okay, so here we are. We're in the children's library now at Estes Valley Library. And this is Barbara Jo, and Barbara Jo is?
I'm the Program and Outreach Services Supervisor, and I am in charge of making sure all the fun happens here at the library.
Cool, cool. So this mural, I was approached about 15 almost 20 years ago about the librarian at the time. She wanted something that would be, accentuate the children's library and bring to life the characters that are in some of the most beloved books that children read. So I jumped on it. I couldn't wait. It's one of the styles I have never done before because I tried to do it as a illustration that would be in a children's book, bright and colorful. And then they gave me a list of some of the most popular and beloved children's book characters that were out there. And so I had the joy of working them all in on a hiking trail. And each one is doing their own thing. I've got Charlotte's Web, I've got Brer Rabbit. My favorite is Olivia the pig. She somehow she just struck me as the most independent, and she's just like, I'm gonna go hiking and I don't care what anybody else does. And ironically, and I don't know how I did this, but I did this one in 2 days. I guess that shows my passion for how much I wanted to do this. So I'm just honored that I get some of the most discerning audiences in here. It's the little kids, and they like it. So here it is, Estes Valley Library, one of my favorite murals and one of my earliest. Now this is the second project I did for the library. A long time ago they got a hold of me and said they'd like something interesting done on their steps up to the second floor. So they said, actually, it looks like a stack of books, and what a better way to indicate something or have something that represents the library. So we started at the bottom with the story of Scotch, which was Enos Mills' dog, and Enos Mills, of course, was instrumental in the development of Rocky Mountain National Park, which of course is Estes Park's spine, our backbone. And then as we go up, we have more popular books. We go The Joy of Cooking, Elements of Style, a very good one, Centennial, my favorite, Gone with the Wind, Ender's Game, and The Giving Tree, a very, very beloved children's book. The Sun Also Rises, a classic. Just an interesting way to let books lead you to upstairs. Now we are at Estes Park Health. It's the hospital up here in Estes Park. And what you're looking at is a milestone for me as an artist. I want to say this so I don't sound conceited, but for my entire mural career, the projects have come to me, and that's been a blessing. But this year, they weren't coming in, so I thought, Michael, buckle down, bite the bullet, and just go out and promote yourself. So I put together a presentation for this wall. I have been like a lot of people. I've sat in this waiting room. This is the waiting room on the second floor. I've sat in here and I've looked at these two brown walls, and I thought instantly, there's something I could do with this wall. So I put in one of my trademarks. I put together a presentation for the aspen trees, and then I submitted it to the hospital, and they liked it. So they said, sure, come on in. So about a month later, I had this done. I call it Aspen Splendor, and I really, really like aspen trees because when you look at them, they look fragile and sort of spindly and vulnerable. But they're not. They are strong and they're survivors. So I thought, what a perfect representation of all the people that come up here to take care of themselves, to get looked at and to heal. So I was very thrilled with this. And I was so happy, and the hospital is filled with such great people, that I put some Easter eggs in here. If you're ever up here and you got some time, take a look around, because you're going to find about, get this, 12 aliens, little green aliens, and about 5 or 6 moose. I hid them in there, so give you just something a little extra to look at. So one of my pride and joys right here. This is the 3rd mural I've done for the hospital. And like I said before, this was a big step for me because I presented my idea to the hospital before they even asked for one. But I was getting in good cahoots with them and they liked my work, so I wanted to do something different. This is a section of the hospital that's eventually going to become busier, so I wanted to give them something that would help bring people down. And so I did something different. I did a full color mural, and I wanted to capture all the depth and the emotion of twilight time in the mountains. So I've got beautiful mountain here within the sunset. The pine trees and the spruces are falling into shadow, and I wanted to capture the serenity of the mural, so that of our area. So there's a river running through it. There's rocks with flowers growing on them, all the wildflowers. And I just wanted to capture a feeling of serenity that once again takes you away from just the surface of the wall, but takes you into a whole nother world. And I feel I've done this because I walk by this and I get a little twinge of, I did something right, because I really like this one. Folks, why are we here? I'm standing in front of Barn W. It's a warehouse here at the fairgrounds in Estes Park. This is where we hold the famous rooftop rodeo, and you might also know us for the Scottish Irish Festival, which is one of the biggest in the country. Come mid-September, I get to take over this building. I am the director of the Catch the Glow Christmas Parade. It's our parade, our annual parade that comes the day after Thanksgiving. My glorious responsibility is I have to supply 18 to 20 floats, the town sponsors for the parade. So in 2.5 months, I have to produce 18 floats, but I get to keep them for 2 years. So this year, I only need to make, 8 or 9 brand new floats. And this warehouse becomes my studio. And this is my 15th parade, so you can guess my excitement. I'm ready to start this year. So if you haven't ever seen the parade, come up. Estes Park is gorgeous the day after Thanksgiving, and there's celebrations downtown. The parade is 5:30, day after Thanksgiving, and I guarantee you the entire town will give you something worth the trip. I'll see you then. We'll show you the video at the end of this. Thanks. Folks, well, now we are in Barn W, which is a huge metal warehouse here on the fairgrounds. And what I do here is I get to build all the floats for our annual Catch the Glow Christmas Parade. I have to produce 18 floats for each parade, and I only use a float for 2 years. So after 2 years, a float gets completely dismantled. I use the components again, everything goes into storage, so that the parade is always fresh every year. You come up and you won't be seeing the same floats again and again. I start middle September, and I have until the day of the parade, the Friday right after Thanksgiving, to complete these floats. And I try to get a big variety. I try to make it interesting all the time. So I do quite a bit of floats. I do quite a few different ideas, such as these. A quick little tour, just so you'll see where I am right now. What do we got, a week and a half till the parade? So I'll just make it quick. I'll give you a quick little tour. This is the corner where my garland fluffers fluff the garland. There's my car that I use on the golf cart. Here's candy machine. Some of these are already all hooked up. Some still have little details that need to be done. Here's Santa's sleigh with the reindeer. Here are the gnomes. This is where Jacob Watkins, the 12-year-old, his float will go. This is peace. I call this the gift of peace. Very proud of this one. Yeah, it's new this year. And here's greenery. It's not going to be used. There's a sleigh that I'm not using. When I asked you guys on Facebook what were your favorite holiday confections and candies and treats, I was listening. This is my that one's mine. Chex Mix. You guys don't have to give me cookies. You can just give me Chex Mix for Christmas. And so here's all the treats. There's a few more I'm still adding. Marzipan. And then there's all the others. My Calliope, the Brass, Snow Queen, my Alien Barbecue. This is for Bigfoot. And he's waiting for food. She's waiting for more food. And my pride and joy, here's my 16-year-old who doesn't really care as long as it gets put on Facebook. And here's welcome. This is the one our mayor is going to be on. Carrie Aiken gave me the bench. My motorcycles are back. This is for Paul, the music director from the elementary school. This is going to be his float with his singers and band people. There's my angels and my stupa. And this is my tribute to my thank you for the firefighters. This is a fire hose, and it's sprinkling water down on our town. And so I liked that. Here's lumber that we didn't need for decking this year. Here's Brad Fitch's float. And here's the one heater that works. And here is all my stuff. Here's 12-year-old Jacob's float pieces. They're coming into fruition right now. There's some goofy cake that my friend Jeff Downey said I probably wouldn't put in the parade. I did. And there's cookie spray paint and some tarts. And this is where I'm building my confections. And there's my sonotube collection and RAM board, very multifunctional. And believe it or not, I know where everything is until I misplace it. My fuel for the day, and there's Jacob's float. And my old time radio shows. These people don't know yet that they're not in the parade. And all my supplies again. This is what makes Christmas Christmas. And lights and specialty stuff and hearts that I might not use again. It's just, I'm very excited. And then here's the overview of everything. Apparently I'm by myself today. Brendan and his crew have caught up, have done everything they can. They're just waiting for me to finish more. So, okay guys, I love you, and it's going to be such a great parade. Oh, I'm so excited. Pray for good weather, okay? Call in your favors. Give us good weather. Regardless, it's going to be a wonderful parade. Number 15 for me. Boy, that brings back memories. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching this. Bye.
Christmas is almost here in Estes Park, and today we're going to give you a sneak peek about what's going to be happening this week at the Catch the Glow Parade. Let's get started.
Hi everyone, Julie Abel here with Estes Park Living and Signature Home Team. Tonight, I cannot wait. You guys are going to enjoy this so much. We're going to get a sneak peek preview of all the floats for the parade. Jeff and I are excited to show you this. Let's get going.
For the Catch the Glow Parade, everyone is welcome, even those who are from really far out of town. And we have a big barbecue grill and a picnic because Estes Park picnics are out of this world.
Okay, I am here with Michael Young, and this is your 15th year, correct?
My 15th parade.
15th parade. He is the artist behind all of these amazing floats. And so I just want to ask you this year, what's your favorite float and why?
I have two.
Okay.
Treats, Christmas treats, and my calliope. The calliope was my dad used to play the theater pipe organ, and it had the same pipes and cymbals and drums. So, plus I heard the music, Christmas music from a calliope. And so it just touched me on that one. This one I just love because it came colorful. And I asked everybody on Facebook, what's your favorite Christmas treat? And so everybody sent me pictures. And so that's a group effort right there.
That is awesome. A float curated by Facebook.
Yeah.
There you have it. That's
Actually,
awesome.
any float that works is my favorite. Yeah.
So, how long does it take you to prepare all of these beautiful displays for the parade?
Well, this year I got started around late September. And what we do is we bring in all the components that we have in storage, and I keep a float for 2 years. So the floats I made new last year came back. This year I have to provide 18 floats every year for the parade. So this year I had to make 7 brand new ones.
7 brand new
Yeah,
ones.
so from late September till today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, how long does it take to de-glitter yourself?
Not fast enough when I go visit my friends, like, oh, Michael.
That's awesome.
I go to the pharmacy, I go to Safeway. Oh, Michael was here.
That's amazing.
It's a part of the job.
That's amazing. Well, there you have it. Do not forget to check out the Catch the Glow Parade. We will have all the details for it down below. And if you have any questions, be sure to message us. We want to be a resource for you about this.
Come see it.
Thank
Watch
you.
it. Thank you. Yay, thank you.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you.
The joy of doing this parade is that I got the job in 2008 and had to skip 2 years for other purposes. So last year was my 15th parade. And in that time, I've had the opportunity to just absolutely scour the reservoirs of my creativity to try to capture all the different facets of the season. There's a reason why we call it the Catch the Glow Parade, because at night, when the parade is going down Elkhorn Avenue, each float hopefully is glowing with some aspect of the season. When I started out, I was just learning, and so a lot of my floats were a little basic, some lights and some elements. I tried to do we have a church theater pipe organ. I'll do nutcrackers quite a bit. I try to have something that the kids will enjoy. Sometimes it's a fantasy piece, sometimes it's humorous. We'll have musical acts. So we'll have a solo performer on guitar. I'll have a brass quartet. I'll have a choral group. Things that keep the floats interesting and to make sure each float is different from the others. So basically that means I have to come up with 18 different themes. The parade itself doesn't have a theme, except it all falls under Catch the Glow. Now I don't do the floats all by myself. I do the creativity and I do the building, but I have wonderful volunteers that will come in, and I have one lady who comes in who will fluff only the greenery that goes around each trailer. I have people that put up the lights around the perimeters of each trailer. In the past, I have done birthday cakes for the national park. I've done a 16-foot Raggedy Ann. I have built castles. I built Christmas wizards. The joy of this is that I get to use everything that comes into my brain. And when I don't have an idea, I'll ask people. I'll say, what's your idea of Christmas? And sometimes it's nothing but snowflakes. Sometimes it's castles glowing with different colors. Sometimes it's trains. Some of my favorites have been, of course, I wanted to build a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I wanted to build a life-size Tyrannosaurus Rex. So naturally, I had to think, well, what does a Tyrannosaurus Rex have anything to do with Christmas? Well, since Tyrannosaurus Rexes don't have long arms, he can be putting the light on top of a Christmas tree, the star on top of a Christmas tree with his mouth. I try to do something that celebrates United States. I try to do a patriotic floats, celebrating our vets, celebrating the country that we are. I try to do something that applies strictly to Estes Park, such as 2013 when we survived the flood. I did a wonderful float of little gingerbread houses that depicted Estes Park, and I called it Mountain Strong. I've built 16-foot dragons, fantasy carriage sleighs, lots of nutcrackers. If I want whimsy, I build a rocket ship with elves in it, and I call it Elf Express, and they're delivering Christmas packages. I have a disco float where you can listen to disco jingle bells. I have life-size, 8-foot-high gingerbread houses. I will celebrate other cultures. I will have a Feliz Navidad every now and then. Last year I had a stupa, the temple in which the Nepalis worship. I'll build a traditional Christmas church in a snowbound setting, and then in the same float, in the same parade, I'll have aliens eating at a barbecue that Bigfoot is giving. Sometimes I'll base a float on Christmas songs like I Saw Three Ships or Hark the Herald Angels Sing. 2 years ago, I started a contest where artists 12 and under can build models of what they think their idea of a Christmas float would be, and then I pick a winner. And then I take that kid's idea and I transform it life-size. My floats generally are they range about 12 feet long for the smallest to 36 feet long. Several things that have to apply to a float is they have to be visible from both sides, because I'm fortunate that the audience is on both sides. It has to be able to withstand any kind of Estes Park weather. And like I said, it has to capture some facet, some spirit of the season, so that everybody can find something in the parade that they really, really liked. I try to always have a float that celebrates peace. And what the floats really do for me is, this may sound sort of selfish, but I want to show Estes Park and everybody who comes up for the day of the parade how much I love this town, how much this town means to me and the people in it, and that Estes Park is a town that survives. And we are the destination for millions of people. And I'm quite happy to say that for the parade, sometimes up to 20,000 people come up here to watch the parade. And what artist wouldn't like to have a captive audience looking at his creations? So the parade, I hope, will always be a part of my life, because I hopefully will always be a part of the parade. It means so much to me, and I feel very, very good that I can do what I can to help people celebrate the wonderful season that it is. Well, folks, thank you so much for letting me have the opportunity to share with you the things that mean so much to me. Being an artist in Estes Park it's incredibly fulfilling. I'm blessed to be able to create murals that help businesses thrive, to enhance some sort of public place, to draw people out of the real world into the magical world that I hopefully have captured in a mural. And then to be able to build Christmas floats for a very, very, very beautiful Christmas parade every year. Well, what artist wouldn't like to have a captive audience like I am very, very fortunate to have? So when you come up to Estes Park, I hope one of my murals will catch your eye, and I really hope you'll put the day after Thanksgiving on your schedule. Come on up here and see a beautiful parade, because my floats are only half of it. So it's a beautiful experience, which is all I want for you. And I'm very, very honored that I get to show Estes Park how much I appreciate it, how much I love this town, and how much I appreciate all of you for sharing, letting me share this with you. Thanks a lot for listening.